Join us today as we talk about the GenCon event catalog and how to get your event tickets. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you haven't been here before, my name's Bobbie.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to be talking about GenCon 2025 and not Chad's cabinet back behind me here, which is why he's closing it. And instead we're going to be talking about how the event system works and everything. We're recording this on May 10th, so May 18th, that should be next Sunday, right?
Yeah, next Sunday.
Well, next Sunday's May 18th is my question. I know it's next Sunday, but...
Yes, it's the 18th.
Okay, so... May 18th is when the event system will go live and you can finally buy the event tickets. So hopefully I'll have this up well before that, but who knows what happens in life. So right now what you can do is you can go in and create a wish list, which you're going to want to do that, by the way.
Yep.
Because next Sunday, not tomorrow for us, but probably not for you, next Sunday, the 18th, at noon, and like 12:00, as close to that time as humanly possible, is when you will want to hit submit or whatever the button says. Process, I think is what it says, for your wish list, which will then try to convert that into getting you tickets. And then you'll see how many thousands of people somehow are in front of you.
Yes, and your wish list will include a countdown in days, hours, minutes, and seconds.
Yes,
until that happens.
Yes, hopefully not the days part. So you don't know how long it's going to take, but you're going to have to be at your computer like when it pops up. It says, hey, available, do you want these tickets? Because then you have a certain window of time, and it's not very long, if I recall correctly. Unfortunately, I haven't actually done this myself the last few years. I had to have my friend Chris, because I work on Sundays. So, Chad, is that roughly how it works, though? Like... pops up and you've got, it was like a half hour, I think, something like that.
It pops up and it says you're like number 6,000.
No, I mean, okay, yes. Let's cover that part. Like once you hit submit or whatever the button
says. It will put you in the queue.
And then it'll tell you what number you are in line, how long you've got, and there's probably some little thing that spins or something, but maybe, I don't know. But then, once you reach that moment where your section is like, okay, now do you want to buy these?
Yeah.
What do you have? Like, is it 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
I don't remember, honestly. I never let it set that long.
Yeah, but there is a defined amount of time, which is why you want to remain at your computer. And I'd recommend using your computer, not your cell phone, by the way.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, don't refresh the page. Don't touch it. Basically, I think.
Leave the window open. Yeah. Don't touch it. It will automatically go from the you're in queue to it's time to purchase your stuff on its own.
Right. So, that's that part. That's the super important part. But now, just in case you're like, okay, but how do I create my wish list? How do I find events, etc., etc.? Well, that is what we're going to do here now.
Yep.
Let me get this recording and we will jump to that. This takes just a second because I got to get this thing out of the screen. Okay. So, now as you can see here, this is the event page and I will link to this down in the description. So, since nothing has actually sold out or already happened, as you can see what I have selected here, these are going to be more relevant once the event list goes live. Because I should note, and we're going to mention this in our other video, not every single event is actually listed yet.
Yep.
This is a lot of them. The others just kind of sporadically pop up, but like a lot of the big ones people are looking for are in here now.
Or they're still waiting for approval on some of them.
Like what?
Well, I know there's more events that probably were submitted early.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, they have so many. They currently have almost 22,000 events.
Yeah. Whenever I say that, Chad, what I mean is like, I'm sure that the costume contest is already in here.
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm
And
sure,
the Innies.
I'm sure that the Ennies, I'm sure that True Dungeon is. I already looked for it.
There's a few hundred of the True Dungeon events listed.
Yes. And I'll mention, we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. So, now, you also have age required. I always just leave those checked. I've never checked anything. And then experience required. I usually leave all those checked, just because I want to know what's there. If it's an expert, it will say so.
Oh yeah.
So, now you can also go by event type. Let's see what all we got here. By the way, my computer isn't the fastest in the world, so... we've got board games, electronic games, entertainment events. That's where if there's any music this year, that's where that'll be.
Yeah.
Film fest, historical miniatures, island of misfit events. That's everything else.
Yeah, everything that doesn't have a specific category.
We have kids activities, LARPing,
live action role playing. If you don't understand what it means.
the acronym.
Yeah, the acronym.
Miniature hobby events.
That would be like painting miniatures.
Yeah, that's probably not the actual. That's not the gaming part. That's everything else. Non-collectible trading card games. That's going to be games like like Cards Against Humanity. No, I don't know. I know for sure if Cards Against Humanity would fall into that, but Dominion would fall into that, where you get all the cards in one box instead of like packs. You can get random cards. It's non-collectible. Non-historical miniatures. That's like D&D, BattleTech. Anything miniature.
Warhammer.
Yeah, that's not historical. Role-playing games.
D&D.
Yeah, D&D, Pathfinder.
Warhammer, Wrath and Glory.
Potentially BattleTech in there too, because they do have a role-playing game.
Yeah.
And what's the other one I'm trying to think of, Chad, that they have the events where they have the van there?
I don't know.
That's the one I keep trying to convince you to play. That has the really crazy artwork for everything. I had to come here in a minute. Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah.
That's it. And numerous others, I'm sure. Then we have seminars, which is what it sounds like. Those are like information distribution events, I guess would be the...
Info dumps.
There you go.
I prioritized those last year.
Yeah, and I've gone to ones that have been interesting before. I've gone to others that have been crap. I used to go back whenever Wizards of the Coast actually made the D&D miniatures game. I would go to these because they would talk about the upcoming products for the next year. Catalyst used to have a thing for that. I don't think they do anymore.
They stopped it
a couple years ago.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
But last year, Cubicle 7, which does the Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory RPG, as well as the Warhammer, the Old World RPG, and have some stuff that goes with 5th edition in their own system. They had one of those last year.
Yeah.
And it's one I'm waiting to hopefully go up here soon.
Yeah, and we've also gone to others before on like a little bit about podcasting, a little bit about, I think, 3D printing one year, and just there's all kinds of things. And
yeah.
There's a couple this year, Chad, looking at that look kind of interesting about like, what was it? What was it to do with medieval warfare? Was it
logistics?
Yeah.
Logistics of medieval warfare.
Yeah, and there's also ones like on super topical things like national security
and
current drone technology. I mean, there's a bunch of interesting stuff.
Tariffs. There's one on tariffs.
Yeah, which look slightly topical to our whole shebang here at the moment. Then we have supplemental activities. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what that is.
I usually don't go to that one. I don't know.
Then we have tradable card games. So that's like
Magic the Gathering, Pokemon the card game,
the Disney one.
Yeah, Lorcana.
Yeah. Then we have trade day events. These are things that happen on Wednesday. We have never gone on Wednesday.
Nope.
I don't know what the story there is. We're not like buyers and sellers, and we're not educators, which seem to be the two types of people that go on trade day.
We tend to drive up to Indy on Wednesday.
Yes, we're usually in traffic during trade day at some point, or occasionally we're standing in the will call line, which we'll talk about that in our other video.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about it in this video, but we're going to talk about it more in the other video. All right, then we have True Dungeon has its own category.
Which is True Dungeon, if you've not done it, is half role-playing, half puzzle solving, half table hockey.
Yes, it is 150% of reality. And then we just have workshops, which are presumably like seminars, but more hands-on.
Where you're making something.
Yeah. So those are your broad categories. So we get out of that. Then we have game systems where you can search by specific, I'm just going to look at, that's a heck of a first thing to pop up there. I was unaware there was a Dracula versus Hitler game system. There's only one event. We might have to look at that later.
We might.
Psycho Babel one-page engine. Like, you go through these, like you see
13th Age.
13th Age has 5, 1490 Doom has 12. Since these are specific systems, a lot of these are going to have just very, very small numbers, until we get to, let me get to something here that I know.
Battletech will have a number.
Yeah.
You passed it.
Yeah, so...
153 for Battletech.
Battletech is 153. So that's because it's a whole system. I'm sure Dungeons & Dragons has some mind-boggling number in here, and True Dungeon probably has its own entry in here too, and things like that. So I'm not going to go through this list because this is gigantic.
It is.
But these are by game systems. Then you can set it to which days you want, which is highly relevant if you're only showing up one day.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have the start times.
Which it goes from midnight to 11 p.m.
Yeah. So there are things set before 10 a.m. on Thursday. Not very many, but generally speaking, the convention is considered open at 10 a.m. on Thursday, and it's open until 4 p.m. on Sunday. So between those hours, there are events. There's probably events like at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I know
there's one listed.
Yeah. In fact, now that Chad points it out, there is in fact one listing here for 3 a.m. A few for 4 a.m. I don't know which days because I don't have that plugged in. But the point is that's all right. We don't need to see what they are. Well, I guess we can see what they are. Okay. So let's back out of that. And let's I gotta hit something here to get it to do that. Just search here.
No. It's one event.
Okay. It's Pogs After Dark. This is Saturday at 3 a.m.
Costs you $2.
And it is, I don't know, let's use this as an example here. So as you can see, you have your game ID, you have who's putting it on, game company group, I don't see anything, the title, Pogs After Dark, you have a short description, and a long description. It's Pogs, the little cardboard things from the 90s. Okay, and so then as you scroll down, you have a minimum number of players. If they don't sell at least 2 tickets, the event will not happen. Then
they'll probably sell those 2 tickets.
Yeah, the maximum is 32. You have a minimum age, so not little kids, but teens. No experience required. No materials required. The start date and time is Saturday at 3 a.m. Duration is supposed to be 1 hour, so the end date and time is Saturday at 4 a.m. Now, there's no location listed, which is puzzling, or a GM, or a web address for more information. We'll look at 1 or 2 more so you can see all these. You have an email address for more information. Yes, this is a tournament, costs $2. The ticket method will be paper, so there will be a physical ticket.
That is important to note, because if it's paper, you either have to get it when you're at the convention, or it gets mailed to you.
Yes. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a moment.
Or it could be digital and tied to your badge. You got lucky with that one year.
Yeah. Now I'm signed in. So over here, I have people that in the past have linked their accounts to mine, so that I can buy their tickets for them. And that's what this long list of people here is other people that are on my list.
Hey, I'm listed.
Yes, Mr. Chad is. My friend Chris, I've mentioned several times. His son Charlie, my sister. My nephew, Brad, who is unfortunately departed, and Ryan, who's another one of my friends. And you can also buy more tickets for yourself. Typically, that means you plan on giving them to someone else.
Yes.
Because they don't really check the names, to be totally honest.
They check if it's a valid ticket and there's a value listed.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go back. And let's get rid of that distinction. So now we're not worried about the start times. And then also you can search by company or group, which again, it's like it's like the other. Like if you know, like for instance, if you're going for BattleTech and you know Catalyst is the company, you just search for Catalyst. So now, and I've already covered everything in this bar here. So let me show you if you just know roughly what you're after. So again, we're going to stick with BattleTech. So I just put it in, and now it's dropped down to 163 events, and they're in chronological order. Now, this is just everything BattleTech. Okay, so like if I come here to the Battle of Misery, Battle 1, you'll notice this is put on by the Ottawa Red Shirts. That's not Catalyst, that's a separate group. I did an event with them last year with Brian, it's pretty fun. But yeah.
Were they all actually wearing red shirts?
The people putting it on were, yeah.
Good.
So yeah, so you see here, it's the gaming group, the title, we have a description. There's just one, unlike the other one which had two. So this is the first of a 4-battle campaign, and it kind of goes on to that. It's going to involve custom 3D terrain. New players are welcome, so it tells you right up front that you don't need to have that, but it clarifies down here. They're using the first edition rules, and it's a minimum of 4 players, maximum 16, teen and up, no experience required, and I can vouch for that.
So, well, let's go into what that means. That means you've never actually played it before. They will help walk you through everything.
Yes. And for what it's worth, BattleTech is relatively simple. It's mainly like tables and math, the game.
It is.
That your mind turns into laser beams and everything else.
And then below that, the experience required is materials required. This one says none.
Yes, because
that means you don't need to bring anything with you to play.
Right, and in this particular instance, this involves miniatures, terrain, dice, paper, pens. Like they're saying they'll have all of that.
That is important because some of them will be like, oh, you need if it's a D&D event, it might say bring a level 10 character.
Yeah.
And restrict which books you can use.
Yeah, so it has the start date and time, the duration, the end date, location to be determined, so at least we have that and not just nothing. The guy to get a hold of, and his email address. No, this is not a tournament, the cost, and it's a paper ticket. So, this is just showing, so the point I wanted to show here is this is a BattleTech event not being put on by Catalyst. Since I did not specify Catalyst, it's going to show me all of the BattleTech events. Whereas if I go, let me go back to our list here. This should be a Catalyst event, this third one here. Yeah, see this is put on by Catalyst Game Labs, and you'll see that this is, don't want to do that, stop. And so this has a short and long description again. Now this one's a little bit different. We have quite a bit of description in here because you're going to have to, let's see. Yeah, see for this, not only do you have to buy a ticket, you have to submit the force you're going to use by July 18th. So this has a whole like outside of the convention stuff you're going to have to do. Because you're going to be bringing your own mechs, your own sheets and everything. So this would be like for D&D if you're bringing your own character and miniature.
Yeah.
So they have to know ahead of time what it is to make sure it's valid and make sure there's no problems. Because you can't just have you show up and be like, well, here's this. And they're like, well, that's not valid. Like, well, that's all I got. They want to avoid that kind of situation. And so this is non-historical miniatures, game system BattleTech. Now here, Rules Edition, that's Alpha Strike. Which in this particular case means that's not the core rules, it's a separate set of rules.
It's a rules light version.
Yeah, so we got minimum of 4, max 24, experience required, some. So here, you played a bit, you understand the basics. Now for BattleTech, that's probably, I'm just using them as our example here because it's the one I know the best. That probably means you've gone through their how to play BattleTech thing, which is either for the core rules or for Alpha Strikes, in this case be Alpha Strike. If you've done that, you're probably good for these from everything they tell me. And then it says players are required to bring items, listed in the tournament rules, page 21. And then
which means they'll probably send you...
Yeah, they'll either send them, or it's this link down here, or it's in the Alpha Strike rulebook. It's if you have questions, that's why down here it tells you who to contact. Now this is a tournament. This is $30, so you're jumping in here. presumably there's some kind of prize if it's $30, but don't assume that.
It is also taking 8 hours to play.
Yeah, that's part of why it's $30. It is an 8-hour event, so it starts at 10 a.m. on Thursday, doesn't end until 6 p.m. I have to assume, but again, you should email to make sure that there's like breaks in there and you can use the rest, all that.
No.
just 8 hours of BattleTech.
8 hours of BattleTech straight.
Just bring the diaper or the Gatorade
bottle.
The Gatorade bottle. Tell everyone don't look
The
under
lemon
the table.
lime one.
Yeah, tell everyone don't look under the table. Now this one does have the location listed already. In fact, I know where that is. That's in the hall.
That's
next,
the play hall.
The play hall next to the dealer's hall.
Which
this
stays open 24 hours while you're there.
And again, this is a paper ticket, so... also, this will be near the BattleTech pods.
It will? Yep.
Yeah, it should be. I don't know if those are listed yet, though.
I don't think they are.
So anyway, you got your other things through here, and if you look, it even tells you like if it's Alpha Strike or not here, or if it's Total Warfare.
We've considered that Battle of the Super Heavies.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
But it's also 8 hours.
It is.
So, but yeah, because there's one in here I was kind of looking at. It's we've done the grinder before.
That was fun. I think it'd be better with people that understand the game better, because we got in with it with other people that had just been through the boot camp.
Right, and I think the problem was that we had people that kind of understood it and people that didn't, and the people that kind of understood it were trying to convince the people that didn't understand it to do complicated things that were going to require the rule book instead of just moving and shooting.
Yes. If you're experienced and you know how to do death from above, do death from above.
Yeah, but if not, like, move and shoot's just fine.
Yep.
Don't stop the game to have to get 2 rule books out to look things up to explain to another player what they can do.
Yeah.
Like, that's no.
Like, it's an hour. Like,
yeah.
Don't be pulling out the rule book.
Everyone's time is at a premium at GenCon. Like, don't do that. So this is just one I was going to talk about real quick. Drafted for War is one I kind of looked at. You get 3 random boxes that have mechs in them. You make your team, presumably based on points from what you get in there.
It might literally just be, here's your team.
Yeah, but then it could be like, oh, I got 3 Atlases. Look at me. And I got 3 Loci. Locuses is Loci is plural. And like, yeah, no, 325-10 mechs versus 310 mechs. Like, yeah,
wouldn't it be 3 Locust mechs? Because the name is Locust.
Yeah, I suppose it could be like Lego, where the plural is actually Lego blocks and not Legos. That could be right.
Because that would make more sense to me.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to, throw that out there. So anyway, that's basically how the event system works. So now let's say I was going to do that. So I'm going to get a ticket for me. No, not for everyone. Sorry. For myself. And let's, yeah. So now if I have multiple people, I would select this box. Because if multiple people, like if I was getting one of these for Chris and myself, I would want to select this box that I'm highlighting right here with the pointer to I would only want the tickets if both of our tickets are available by the time it comes up to us. So that's important. You need to remember that. But let's say I'm just getting the one. So I add selected tickets to my wish list. Now they're in my wish list. And so it should be here. So I come down here. And yeah,
there's that countdown.
Here's the countdown. Like the absolute nanosecond this hits 0, you want to hit submit wish list for processing right here.
Yep, it is a dead link until that moment.
Yes, you hit that like a minute later. Like, hope you don't have plans for Sunday. Actually, I hope you don't have plans for Sunday. Period. But so anyway, this is what the wish list looks like. Let me add one other thing so that I can show you the other feature here.
Click find events.
Well, it's right back here, though. It should be. Okay, so let's just, for argument's sake, also say I was going to do the Battle of the Super Heavies. One for myself. Add selected to wish list. And go back. Okay, so now the other thing you need to do is the priority over here. So let's say I wanted the Battle of the Super Heavies is my top priority. Okay, so now it resets now that I've done that. So whenever I hit that submit button, it's going to try to get that ticket first, or something to that effect is how it's going to work. It's going to go down the priority list, and so whatever is your most important thing, or if you think that the one thing that is like this is what my Gen Con is about, and everything else is, well, I get it if I get it. Don't put anything else on the wish list. Just put the one event. And the other stuff, get it later if it's still available. Because I think this is speculation, but I believe you'll process faster because you just have the one thing. And I think you'll stand a far greater chance of getting into it.
Here's the other thing that I think it does when you process it. That priority, if you have two for the same time,
I don't know.
It prioritizes the one over the other.
Oh yeah, I just realized those are at the same time, aren't they?
So the super heavy one in this instance, it would try to get it, but if it's sold out, it would then get drafted for war.
Yeah, so this is one other thing we need to mention. It won't let you buy tickets for the same time.
Nope.
Like, so right now I have them 2 for 10 a.m., but let's say hypothetically that the Battle of the Super Heavies was only a 4-hour event, and Drafted for War started at
2.
Let's say 1 o'clock. But I thought, well, I'm going to buy it in case I'm done with Battle of the Super Heavies, in case I get knocked out. It won't let me buy that ticket. It has to be at least 2. So it has to be at least 4 hours later. So that's where, if you're going to go about doing this, it's where it really helps to have a friend and have them do the buy more tickets for myself and kind of split the burden, so then you have your backup plan. But also, you need to actually go to the event, like, because they have to collect the tickets.
Yep.
And because if you don't, I think that money just goes to Gen Con. Like, I don't think they collect the money if you don't show up, even if you've spent the money on the tickets. Now, if you're in that situation, you know you're not going to go to the event, go get your refund.
Oh, yeah.
And it has to be, is it a half an hour, I think?
Yeah.
I believe it's a half an hour before the event. Any closer, and I don't think you can. I know you definitely can't once the event starts, because they don't know that you haven't, like, gone in, checked in, and now you're going to try to pull some chicanery. And you have to go to the event ticket sales. I believe that's also where the refunds are done.
Yeah, it is.
It's not will call.
It is not.
For sure, it's not will call. And you'll probably only get system credit. I don't think they'll give you cash or put it back on your card. I don't believe.
I've never returned one that costs money, so I don't know.
Okay, and also even if they're free ones, return them in case someone else wants to get in.
Yeah,
so they can get a ticket.
Always return your ticket if you're not going, no matter the cost. 1, to get your money to be able to use where you want to. 2, it does free up that seat for someone else to get it.
We're probably done with this part of it, right?
Well, I do want to point out something else here real quick.
Okay.
There's a view wish list by start time. That is very helpful for if you are going through and trying to see if any of these do overlap in time.
Yeah. So.
Or if you want to see what days they're on.
Just go ahead and bring that up here real quick. So yeah. Now these are the same time, so I don't know if it'll differentiate if we do something else. But okay. Also, you can request a maximum of 50 tickets in your events list. So
in your wish list.
In your wish list. So don't get more than 50 tickets. 50 events, not tickets. But that also falls under, like, you shouldn't be doing 50 events anyway.
No.
I don't know if you have the time.
You're going to be, if you even try, you're going to be running from one event to the next with no time in between. And you're going to be exhausted and you're not going to enjoy it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to stop the recording here on the screen, maybe. And so we're going to come up here. Thank you. All right, so we have a little bit of general advice on events. Very much related to what Chad just said and what we were talking about. Don't flood your schedule with events. You are not going to have time for all of it. You're not going to have the will for all of it.
Oh, no.
Because like I don't know how everyone else is, but after I'm done with True Dungeon, like I need to go sit down for a minute. I've been standing and walking around for 3 hours in the dark. Like, probably need to use the restroom. Probably need a drink. Like maybe grab a snack or something. And so there was no way I would want to leave True Dungeon and then like 20 minutes later have some other event. Like plus at the end of True Dungeon you got to do tokens and things, so you can't have a thing right after it anyway.
Yep.
But that's the other thing is don't put back-to-back events unless they're in the same room, the same like general geography, because these things do occasionally run over by a couple minutes, which they try not to because the next group has the room and you're supposed to be out of there.
Yeah.
But the point is, even if you're getting out of there like right at 4 o'clock, unless the next event is in that room or like the room right next door, you're going to have to walk some distance. And if it's any real distance, you're going to be coming in the middle of the event. Unless it's a seminar, and even then, that's kind of rude to the other people in the seminar, walking in 20 minutes late.
That's rude to the person doing the seminar.
Yeah. So space your events out and make sure that you give yourself time to do other things. Like, again, like using the restroom, getting food, getting a drink, having a seat somewhere if you've been standing for True Dungeon, or walking around if you've been standing for a seminar or a game. And also, the dealer's hall and all the other things that are happening at GenCon.
And breaks for food and water.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can eat during the seminar, but at that point, are you really paying attention?
Yeah, and that's also kind of rude to the people, especially if you're eating something loud,
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting there, I don't know, like munching on a
bag of chips.
Yeah, bag of chips. There we go. That's the perfect example.
Yeah, your crunching might not be that loud,
yeah,
but the bag's gonna.
Yeah, you're getting in the bag. Like,
that sound that calls the dog when you're home.
Yeah. The dog's fast asleep, and that first crinkle, it's where did you come from? Yeah. Drinking, not so much, as long as you're not slurping through a straw really loudly, or like sucking on a bottle and crushing in the plastic, things like that. So, and I guess it's just in general also a tip outside of the whole event thing here. It's just like, be respectful to the people that are there. I mean, it's bad enough there's some people that are complete assholes that are there. And I have run into them. And I have not been kind in return. But generally speaking, 95%, somewhere between 95 and 99% of the people there are probably just regular, decent folks who you treat them nice, they'll treat you nice, and everyone will get along great.
And remember, everybody paid one way or another to be there.
Yeah. Unless they won it in a contest.
Even then, they got to pay with their time.
Yeah, I suppose. But people don't value their time. That's very obvious by the way everyone acts about everything. I'm just saying, Chad. We all have a finite amount. No one acts like they do unless they know when the bills come and due.
Oh well.
I'm just saying, it's just one of those things with people. I'm the same way. I'm not. This isn't my I'm better than everyone else. No. I act the same exact way. I act like I'm going to live forever. So far, so good.
True.
I can't take credit for that. Stephen Wright said that. He has a lot of funny stuff. You should look him up. He's a pretty funny guy. All right. So I think that's all we have to say on events. So if you guys have any questions, shoot us the thing. We mentioned you want to have your event tickets sent to you if at all possible. So since this is going to be opening up next Sunday, that's well before the deadline, which is sometime in June, if I remember correctly. But if you buy events after this, keep that in mind. But you would have had but you wanted to set your badges to be sent to you. Because I should also mention you have to have a badge to be able to buy event tickets.
Yes.
So you want to have that done by Friday, the 16th, because Sunday's 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to have that done by Friday, because I believe there is actually a cutoff for access to the system.
Plus, you want to be able to have the time to look through the events, because you can't even access the events.
Well,
to see what there is without having that badge.
Well, you can't create the wish list, but I think you can still look through the events. I just don't know. I don't think all the functionality isn't there though for some things. But I know you cannot create the wish list without having an event, without having a badge also. And you want to have that done. You don't want to be there at Sunday 11:30 trying to race through this. You want to have it. You probably want to have it done Saturday So you give yourself time to look it over, make sure you didn't miss anything, check the forums. Not the main GenCon forums, they're down. Probably go to the fans of... they can't control the spam apparently, so they've already said that it's just shutting down. They're not going to reopen it before GenCon this year. So the fans of GenCon Facebook group is very informative. So I would check there. If you have any questions, like some people from GenCon go there, and it's run by a gentleman who lives in Indianapolis, so he's very dedicated to it. For the most part, it's a very accepting, nice group.
Yeah.
Occasionally politics rears its ugly head, but...
You can easily ignore that stuff.
Yeah, just ignore it. I mean, part of it I get, because part of it affects this stuff. You know, because like the tariff situation is probably going to affect GenCon. The fact that there are people overseas who are terrified of coming to the United States at the moment because of stories they're hearing from our immigration enforcement. Like, I get it that like it's going to have an impact this year, the same way as whenever COVID happened. You know, it had an impact, and there's a political angle to that. So I get why they discuss it on there. I'm not begrudging them discussing it, but if you're the type that wants to avoid politics, it's fairly easy to avoid. But overall, it's an excellent group. So anyway, I think that's all we've got on events.
I don't really have...
There was one other thing. I remember what it was now. We've mentioned paper tickets all this time. The other tickets are digital. There's a barcode on the bottom of your badge. Oh, it's been on the bottom in the past. I assume it's still on the bottom. And you'll just scan those. Somehow none of the events we came across were digital, but so they just scan it and you're in. So that kind of helped us last year.
So the ticket for the costume contest is digital.
Okay.
Now, ticketing method, it lists it as electronic, and the little image of the ticket has like a lightning bolt through it. So
okay. It looks like an old style like theater ticket, but it has like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, and that just lets you know
electronic.
It's going to be on the barcode tied to your badge.
Yeah.
And they will scan that when you go into it.
Yes. And again, even with those, if you're not going, go cancel your ticket, get your refund, whatever. They'll do I assume they just scan your badge at that point, and then they remove it from your badge.
Yeah. Returning it's literally they scan your badge to make sure you're who you are.
Yeah.
The name on the badge and the ticket have to match.
Yeah.
Then they have it pulled up. If it's a physical ticket, you just hand them over the ticket, they scan it, then it's taken care of. If it's digital, they just remove it from the list.
Yeah.
I have removed a few tickets before.
Yeah. So that's most of what we've got. I think that's about everything we got for events. We'll probably make a video once we know what we're going to, just to tell you folks, because we don't know yet.
I only have 2 on my wish list so far.
Yeah, and I'm going to be trying to coordinate with Chad, with Chris, Brian from Boston, and once we have an idea, we're going to be getting a hold of him, see what he's doing, and try to do some events together.
I get to coordinate with Bobbie and like 6 or 7 other people that I hang out with on Tuesdays, who, for the most part, all but 2 of those people are going.
Yeah. Chad's got a whole gaming group here that he's got to coordinate with. So he's going to find out what my life's been like the last few times. Whenever it's been you, it's been Chris, it's been Sarah. Occasionally Brandon showed up. So anyway, don't know who else is going this year so far. I don't know if Jimmy's going, but Owen might go for a day or 2. So we got to figure out the logistics behind that. But yeah, I think that's all we have for the event stuff. So if you have any questions, shoot us down there in the comments. We'll try to answer them, because I actually do get a lot of Gen Con questions, and I try to answer all of them as best I can. So, because we're trying to inform you folks.
Yep.
So anyway, I think that's all we got. So if you liked what you saw, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting are the things that help us the most to grow the channel. We always appreciate it. And obviously, subscriptions is the name of the game here. And we'd like to thank all of you, by the way, who helped us get over 500 recently.
Oh yeah, that's...
And hopefully you stick around for the next 500. And we'll see where we go from there. Once we can start making 10 cents for every video or something. But I think it's a little bit more than that, but it's not a lot. But yeah, anyway. But that's all that'll be to help Jim pay for those microphones he just bought. So
Yeah.
then we'll work on other quality of life improvements after that for the channel.
Like proper cameras.
Yeah, I mean, the cell phones work, but
They do, but this is an easy reference tool.
yeah, well, that's why I got you here with your phone. Don't need to use mine if we got yours.
Yeah, but there's probably notes on your phone that aren't on mine.
Oh, Chad, my note file's gigantic. But anyway, that's all I got, folks. So we will see you maybe at GenCon.
Hopefully.